It's cozy season. You need blankets, pillows. You need mugs. You need
You know what I want?
tea koozie. What's your cozy season must-haves?
Holiday themed glasses and dishware. You know, I finally got my little Christmas plates that I've wanted for years and years and years last Christmas. I want like some sort
It's
of
not
like
my culture, but
I know
I
it's not your
respect it.
culture, but I want more like Christmassy drinkware, plateware.
Okay, well, you know a great place to get that.
Wayfair.
Yeah, you got to be stocking up at Wayfair.
I'm stocking up at Wayfair.
Because not only are you going to get the cozy items that you so desire, but you're going to get great deals on the cozy items you so desire. Because Wayfair has great deals on things your home actually needs, especially before the holidays. They have everything from sofas to spatulas. You name it, they have it. They also have styles you can't find anywhere else. No cookie cutter stuff that everyone else has, so you can make your home way more you. Right now, you can shop Wayfair's insane holiday deals and get up to 70% off during their Black Friday deals.
You know what items I'm all ready for thanks to Wayfair?
What items?
Christmas napkins. It sounds silly, but I want them and I like them.
Get them.
Christmas, they've got little Christmas trees on them.
Get
and
them.
They're napkins.
Just
okay?
just have me over and make cookies. Like,
and you'll go, not my culture when you like wipe your mouth, but that's fine. That's
no,
totally
I'll say
fine.
these are gorgeous.
Thank you. Don't miss out on saving big with Wayfair this holiday. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday deals. That's WAYFAIR.com.
You will dream it.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey,
Mia.
hey,
Mia.
Come on.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger.
I'm Lindsey Weber.
Come see us on tour. Come to LA next week.
In LA, we're playing 2 nights at the Regent. Vancouver, we're doing an early show, a matinee of sorts. I don't know, brunch time, drink a
It's at
drink a
4.
Bloody Mary. And then we're doing an evening show.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's going to be great. And I did ask the Hooligans for stuff to do in Vancouver, and they did give me so many things. So I need to go through them, actually, and
Yeah,
pick
thank
out
you, Hooligans.
some stuff to do. And then we're doing a show in San Francisco, which I believe is sold out, so just ignore it. But the most exciting news that we have to announce today is that our show at the Palladium, which I don't believe is sold out yet. It's wild that it even could be sold out, but it is a show that we are doing in New York City.
We broke 1,000 tickets. We've sold like 1,010 tickets.
Have we really?
Yeah, we broke it.
Okay, well,
Isn't that ridiculous?
we have exciting news for some of those 1,000 people. If you want to extend your evening and really make a night out of it, because you're going to be in Times Square and you might as well keep partying, we're doing an after party with our BFFs, Gorgeous, nearby at Fishbowl. So tickets for that will be on sale. If you can hear this episode, tickets are on sale now. So rush to
Yes.
get those because there's not 1,000 tickets. But I assume out of the 1,000 people who are hopefully coming to our show, some of you will want to party.
Hope to see you soon. Tour is winding down. Let's play some comments.
Hi, LindseyBobby Timmy. I had to pause the Friday episode because it became so obvious, even though Bobby said it at the end, that he's never seen Little Shop of Horrors. I haven't either, but my name is Audrey, and so I have been told a lot about it. And I know that there is a sadistic dentist, which Wikipedia confirmed, in the play, and literally a song called Dentist. Actually, Audrey, the character that she is playing, Constance who is playing, is in a relationship with an abusive dentist. And spoiler alert, it gets fed to Audrey to the plant. And so that she's free of the sadistic dentist boyfriend. So her going to the ADA conference is actually incredible. It's incredible. I imagine you'll get a lot of calls about this, but I'm here to say grunge, and go see Little Shop of Horrors. Okay, bye. Literally called it on my work phone for this. Bye.
Okay, it's incredible. I don't think it's the reason why. They're not going to bring up a sadistic dentist at the dental conference.
I love this dear hooligan, and I hope you don't take offense, but there is nothing more the problem with our culture than somebody calling and being like, I've never seen this musical or musical movie, but here's what it's about.
But my name is Audrey.
There is nothing like taking authority over a narrative that you actually haven't seen, but could easily watch. I think her beautiful smile was more relevant to why she was on this conference than the fact that she's starring in a musical about a sadistic dentist. They
I
probably
do
don't
love-
want you to think about dentistry as
Yeah.
being sadistic, you know?
No. I do love the call, though.
Great. Thank you, Audrey.
Hey, BLT, just following up on the Kirby call with another example of this trend that's sweeping the nation. Mahala Harold from Industry, I have noticed that in the new Netflix movie that she's in with Julia Roberts, and I think in Dumb Money too, which just came out, she's credited only as Mahala, and she changed her Instagram and everything. So something's up. This is definitely sweeping the nation. Anyway, crunch crunch.
It's sweeping the nation.
It's sweeping the nation.
No, I like this. I think it's like, if you are so blessed to have like an original name, like a unique name, if your name is like not Sarah or something, then like go for it.
Mahala Harold is now Mahala? Do you watch Industry? That's one of those shows that everyone says, watch Industry. You'll love Industry. And I haven't watched Industry yet.
I have, but like I didn't really follow through. But I saw a few episodes. But I liked her in Bodies.
Yeah,
Three
me too.
Bodies.
We have Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, Mahala, and Kevin Bacon, which is actually my favorite part about this credits list. Who is Kevin Bacon? I've read the book. Who was Kevin Bacon?
Oh, you know who he is? He's the guy they see. He's like the guy that they come across.
Oh, when they go out on the one
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like
He's
that guy.
Oh,
He's
when they
like,
visit the house.
But also, I heard that they change a lot, so like maybe he's something.
Yeah,
but I do
yeah.
think he's that guy because he gives that
Yeah.
guy because that guy's like very threatening in like a way that I feel like Kevin Bacon can do. This is gonna be. I gotta reread this book just because I loved it so much.
Didn't they age up the kid? Because the kid is not
Yeah.
Mahala's age. Right?
No, the kid's
I'm not
like a
crazy.
little.
The
for
kid's like
sure.
a little kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, mononymity is sweeping the nation, and I'm obsessed with it.
No, I like it. It's a good trend, and if I could make a fake theory like based on nothing, just based on like this is a very pop psychology type theory. Do you think it's like the mononymous trend is kind of a backlash to the idea that no one is famous enough to be like claiming single namedom, but because of that, we're gonna do everything that we can to make you remember me. So if you want me to take out my second name so you don't have to remember it, like I'll go for it. I'll be more memorable
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's a good point. It's a reaction to the number of famous people.
Yeah. It's like there's too many people to remember who they are, thus like the plot of this podcast that like as a reaction to that, like you don't need to know my last name. What does that matter? Like I'm gonna go, my first name is like amazing enough, which I agree for like Kirby. Like it also works as well. It works better for Mahala because that's a name that's not associated with a popular video game character.
That's why it works better. It's not associated with the popular video game character.
I mean, shout out to Jason at Vulture who also immediately noticed this as like the first thing when he wrote about the trailer.
The headline is "Leave the world and your last name behind."
Your last name behind. I love that. No, we're on the same. We're kindred because we're on the same line of thinking. All of this is very interesting. So excited for this movie. But what's most interesting is that this girlie dropped her last name.
It's gone. It's fully
it's nowhere
gone.
to be found. Can you imagine Julia being like, we're just hearing this information and being like, okay. Like she's like,
Well, good
all
for
right.
her. Like something like, well, good for her, I guess.
Right.
Good for her.
In my day, you had to have both names, but that's fine.
No, she would say something about like how many Julias she knows. Well, I'd be shit out of luck because I know 6 Julias. 6 Julias live on my street. You know?
Okay.
Hi, LindseyBobby Tenney. Long time. I had to stop the pod because I have a very good friend who is from Normal, Illinois. She does not listen to the podcast, but I'm trying to get her to listen to it. So I sent her the clip about Jake from State Farm and your bit about Normal, Illinois and Bloomington. However, she is incredibly offended that you called Normal a suburb of Bloomington. It is its own city. They are side by side, I believe. She will not listen to the podcast until this has been corrected. She is a research librarian, so she takes this incredibly seriously. if you could publicly put this on the record, that'd be amazing. Women do belong in balloons.
I'm pretty sure I called it. I said it looks like us. I'll play my clip. I'll roll the tape. I think I say that it looks like it would be a suburb, but it is its own town.
You didn't just like insult Illinois. It's called
No.
Normal, Illinois.
It's a suburb of Bloomington. Bloomington is like the State Farm town, and Normal is like it's a town next to it. They're basically like, if you look at it on Google Maps, they look like the same town, but Normal is one of them. Bloomington is the other. What Normal Gossip needs to do is, I know their new season just premiered. They need a full season of just gossip from Normal.
Normal,
How about that?
Illinois. I also think like we need to go on a mini tour of places that we've mentioned on this podcast that like Greensboro, South Carolina, and Normal, Illinois. You know, just places that we talk about that we're like, I don't know. We should have to go there and do a show.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be really fun, actually.
We got to go back to Phoenix.
We got to go back to Phoenix. Still gets canceled. It gets canceled regardless. Next call. Anyway, Normal, Illinois. Real place and its own city.
Hi, Bobby, Lindsey, and Timmy. I just finished listening to today's episode, and I'm really absolutely gutted about Maren Morris. And I immediately texted a friend who's also a huge fan, and she just got back to me like an hour later with a theory that Maren Morris recently was very publicly reading Bell Hooks' All About Love. And this alone wouldn't, I mean, perhaps that is enough to say this instigated reflection and decisions, but also Jodie Turner-Smith very recently publicly read Bell Hooks' All About Love, and she too is getting a divorce. So our working theory is that even from the grave, Bell Hooks is not inspiring, instigating, is really causing deep reflection and action in marriages. And if men can't evolve as quickly, this is the result. So just something to consider. Crunch, crunch, promising young woman.
This is so good. If you're a famous person and you're in a relationship and you're married and you read Bell Hooks, especially if you read All About Love, start the clock. Start the clock.
Relationships are treated like Dixie cups. They are the same. They are disposable. If it does not work, drop it, throw it away, get another. Committed bonds, including marriage, cannot last when this is the prevailing logic. Most of us are unclear about what to do to protect and strengthen caring bonds when our self-centered needs are not being met. That's from All About Love.
Good book.
The girlies are living, learning, studying, reading something. I don't know. I mean, sure. Okay. It is.
Reading Bell Hooks is a good idea whether or not you're divorcing your husband.
Sure, but there is something very carrying around the book in photos is to me very funny, pointed.
Yes.
Because that's really, that makes me think of like Grimes after the Elon Musk divorce reading Karl Marx it makes me think of it makes me think of Kelly Ripa fighting carrying like David and Goliath around outside of her house, you know. Yes,
we know that Maren Morris is reading Bell Hooks because she told the LA Times that she was reading it in that interview that was about like how she's quote unquote leaving country music. She references reading a lot of like stuff and like all the things that she's reading to like find joy. And one of those ways is reading Bell Hooks. That was just written. Jodie Turner-Smith walked around with the book in her hand and was photographed by the paparazzi.
I think it's more pointed and fun for our purposes to walk around with the book in your hand. I'm not like, girlies are allowed to read and say books that they like to read. But if you're walking around holding a book and getting photographed, that's funny to me. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. And that's a popular book with a kind of simple, iconic cover. So that's a book you can sort of like clock from a mile away, too.
Millie Bobby Brown reveals to Glamour that she credits her feminist awakening to a visit to a psychic who informed her that she was, in fact, a feminist. So do with that what you will.
What a disappointment that you pointedly said, I didn't read the Glamour feature because you missed, and I missed because I didn't read it either, so many beautiful moments of Millie Bobby Brown.
when I first saw the tweet from, I think, Pop Crave or maybe Pop Base that says Millie Bobby Brown credits her feminist awakening to a visit to a psychic who informed her that she was, in fact, a feminist, I thought it was paraphrasing something, but that is the direct quote from the Glamour piece.
Brown went home and Googled, quote, how do I know if I'm a feminist? After reading articles and books, she really grasped the idea of feminism and what it means to be me, she says. Ultimately, it's about opportunity. She's looking forward to opportunities to cast other women, to give chances to performers who might otherwise be overlooked. Women. Which wave is this? I mean, I guess the psychic didn't tell her which wave of feminism she's involved in, but like, maybe that's okay. Because we're talking very basic, and that's fine. Sometimes you got to start from the, maybe she should read a book. Maybe, has she heard of bell hooks? Damn it. Maybe a book will help.
Are we in 4th or 5th?
Who cares where we are? It's a personal journey. I'm just saying the psychic didn't tell her which wave she should commit to or whatever. That's okay.
That's totally fine.
That's totally fine. Again, I'm not here to criticize Millie Bobby Brown's feminism that she got from a fucking psychic. Like, rock on. Rock on. Okay, can we move on, please?
Hi, LindseyBobby. Third time calling about Ashlyn Harris and Sophia Bush. Third time's the charm. I just wanted to call in because I'm a big women's soccer fan and want to be able to provide context of who Ashlyn Harris is. She's a former goalkeeper for the national team, but she's probably most significant because of her relationship with her teammate, Ali Krieger. They first met in 2010 as teammates, and I believe they started dating not long after that, though they weren't public about it. But of course, fans figured out that they were together, and this relationship launched like 1 million Tumblr pages. Fans gave them the couple name Crashland. It was just kind of groundbreaking for the community. There's been a lot of WOSO couples and teammate couples who followed them and probably predated them that we didn't know about. But they were like kind of the blueprint. In 2019, they got married. They adopted 2 kids. And like 2 years ago, they moved to New York to play for Gotham FC. Ashlyn only played for 1 season and then retired. Allie's currently still playing, but this is her last season. And, you know, everything seemed normal between them until June or July when they stopped posting about each other on Instagram. And there have been a lot of subtle hints since then that maybe something was wrong. And then they took proud wife out of both of their bios, which really signaled that it was over, which was honestly shocking because they were, you know, a core relationship in WOSO for so long. And then last week, when it was reported by people that Ashlyn had filed for divorce, almost unanimously, the WOSO stands, like, took the side of Allie. Number one, because people did kind of suspect that maybe Ashlyn had cheated. They didn't know who with. And number two, the news team, like, just days before Allie was scheduled to play her farewell match for her last regular season home game with Gotham. And it seemed kind of intentional timing for Ashlyn to be, you know, putting out there in like a spiteful way maybe. And one of Allie's teammates actually liked a bunch of tweets calling Ashlyn trash, so that seemed to corroborate things for fans. And then a couple of days ago, I started seeing people connect Sophia Bush to Ashlyn because they had been at so many events together. Sophia is also a part owner of the LA women's soccer team, Angel City. And she's friends with Megan Rapinoe, who is also very close with Ashlyn and Allie. So this whole thing seems like pretty messy and pretty unfortunate because there's kids involved. But I wanted to provide the context because Allie and Ashlyn for so long were such a big couple in the community. So there you have it. Crunch, crunch. Women don't belong in balloons.
Wait, their whole family is just hot gay people?
I just found out that Ali Krieger's brother is Kyle Krieger, and Lindsey was like, who's Kyle Krieger? I was like, famous hairstylist, like gay YouTuber, and she Googles him and it instantly goes, fuck.
Wait, it's just funny that you pulled it back from like lesbian soccer players into your culture, like in the matter of like a freaking second.
Well,
you were like, okay, but something.
like,
how do I get involved here?
I love this call. There were so many calls, but this is, I think, my favorite call. It had so much context. You can tell the caller like plotted it out perfectly. It's just like a hair under 3 minutes when it cuts.
Well, it was her third call. It was her third call.
An amazing call.
True, because I don't really know a ton of this, but like I've been loving seeing the kind of responses and the, and we knew Sophia Bush was kind of a messy girly, and we've known for like a while. I mean, her divorce came out of nowhere.
Her divorce was random, and so was the guy she married, honestly.
Totally random. I think he just came out yesterday and was like, I support her. Like, okay, who are you again? His name's Grant.
His name is Grant Hughes. He said it's a rep for Hughes, but still, it's explicitly a rep for Hughes. Told Page 6, Grant will always want the best for Sophia and is supportive of all that makes her happy and fulfilled. Okay.
Okay, so I want to be very clear. This was in our Tuesday episode, but it was really, really, it felt.
Lindsey cut it because it was rumory.
It felt possible, but it felt a little too rumory, and we didn't have much to add, and it wasn't very funny or interesting, and so I cut it, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, when this is proven to be real, like in a few days or something like that, or in a week or so, I'm going to be mad that I cut this because it felt exciting and we were breaking we weren't breaking anything, but to people who weren't in the know, maybe we were telling them something they didn't know. The other reason that I wanted to include it was because one of our mutual friends saw them together at an airport. And then it was kind of like question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, when she told us that she saw Sophia Bush and Ashlyn together in an airport, let's be honest, it didn't really mean anything to us. It
it meant something to her, though.
There's a community of specifically queer women, but also if you like people, like queer women who are into sports, like if you're in the middle of that.
Yeah, if you WOSO fans, which I just realized stands for women's soccer. Love that.
Yes.
WOSO.
That community and like the slightly broader version of that community,
these are their gods,
has been following this for so long and so closely. And they have always suspected, I mean, I'm speaking for them, sorry. They've always suspected that not only, well, for the few months that Ashlyn and Allie were on the rocks, they've long suspected that Sophia Bush may prefer the company of women.
But also, I'm sorry, when does that community, the WOSO community, give a shit about Sophia Bush? I think that's just when because she's been hanging out with them for so long. But like, it is funny because Sophia Bush has not really given any other kind of reasons why she would. Like, you can hang out with lesbians and not be one. And I guess the thing is like, that's what is interesting.
You can hang out with lesbians and not be one?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She's like friends with these women, but doesn't have to like.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm like, what do you mean? Also, she doesn't play anymore, and Allie Krieger still plays, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess Allie Krieger is about to stop playing.
This is bad for women's soccer. This sucks because this is like exciting, and maybe people would go watch them play because they're like in tabloids, and now it's like, well, they're both not going to be playing anymore.
The timeline here is actually sort of interesting, especially when you get into the past 6 months. So, yes, Allie and Ashlyn had been together for probably over a decade because it's a little unclear when they actually started dating. We know they met in 2010, and that the rumor is that they probably started dating not long after that, but obviously they didn't go public for a while. So we can focus on what we do know, which is like the past 6 months. Because again, they got married in 2019. They adopted 2 kids. In June, Allie Krieger posted a photo of a selfie of her and their 2 children, who are babies, and said, well, I haven't sat down much, but these 2, meaning the babies, are everything. And we've had the best week together, laughing, snuggling, and puzzling. Can't wait for Mama to get home. So where Mama was on June 22nd when she posted this was in France at the Cannes Lion International Advertising Festival. They were on a panel together about branding, and according to onlookers, they were getting cozy together. And then they went and saw a comedy show in September.
They went on a double date with Stacey London and her girlfriend.
After seeing the Chelsea Handler show.
At Beacon Theater. The way that this came out, I mean, the filing for divorce happened on October 11th. That was only a few days ago. And then they went on a first date. Sophia Bush dating recently divorced soccer star Ashlyn Harris was in TMZ on the 17th.
What I also found kind of funny is that Sophia split up with her husband, or it was announced publicly on August 4th. They got married in June of 2022. Do you remember their wedding? How it was like very much like it was in Tulsa, so it was like
Of course,
their
I
whole thing was
remember
like being
this.
like hyper aware of like Tulsa history and like Black Wall Street and like the Tulsa bombings,
Oh.
etc.
And now looking back, like, yeah, they got married, but doesn't that feel like more of like a press release than a marriage at this point?
Yeah, more of a history lesson for like ignorant white people
Yeah.
than it was as an actual wedding.
Right. It's now looking back, it's like, what was this wedding? What was the
Yeah.
purpose? It didn't mean anything to you. I mean, it meant something to you, but it didn't have anything to do with your history as a couple or it had to do with like forward facing kind of politics almost at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like the best thing this marriage ever did was teach like Vogue readers who didn't know anything about Tulsa, Oklahoma, about the history of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know?
Right. Ooh.
So I always forget that was the wedding where that happened because it's like so interesting. They got married in June, and 1 year later, on their anniversary, this is a stupid comment, she posted like 365 days with this guy, like so in love with you still, blah, blah, blah. That was like simultaneous to meeting Ashlyn at Cannes.
You're saying they met for the first time at Cannes?
It seemed like they met at Cannes, but when you look back at old Instagrams and comments
known each
and
other.
posts by like lesbians who take screenshots,
Lesbians who take screenshots. Are they unionized? The lesbians that take screenshots?
I hope so.
They should be. I'm not going to pretend like I know the entire history of these three's relationship, but I do feel like Sophia Bush has been part of these women's lives for a significant amount of time because she's 139 weeks ago per this lesbian taken screenshot, because I need to give credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
The screenshot definitely came from a lesbian taking a screenshot. This was 139 weeks ago. She posted like,
"Oh, Ash, Allie, this is everything. What a lucky lady she is to have you two be her mamas. Love, love, love to little Sloan." That must be the adoption announcement.
right, yeah, whatever it is, it's making me a little sad because when there are kids
Yeah.
involved, it's kind of like that's sad that they're breaking up.
And then Sophia Bush, I guess when they got married, Ashlyn and Allie, Sophia Bush posted a photo, presumably from the wedding, but maybe at a different time. They're both on white, but it's Sophia clutching Ashlyn's arm, and the caption is, "Congrats to the babes, Ashlyn Harris and Allie Krieger. Have the best day."
Wait, that's Sophia Bush in that photo?
Isn't
No.
that Sophia Bush and Ashlyn?
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's
No,
Allie.
Allie.
Oh, that's Allie. Oh, Allie
That's
looks like
Allie
Sophia
and
Bush.
Ashlyn.
I mean,
She's
by
just a
that I
brunette.
mean they're brunette.
Like, okay, they're just
I
both
can't
brunettes.
tell. I can't tell brunette
She
women
definitely
apart. I'm
posted a
sorry.
photo of them at their wedding. They're both wearing white. You're like, she posted a picture of herself.
I literally thought that was Sophia Bush until you said that.
That would be the most like rude shit ever. Also, why would she be in like a wedding photo with?
I was like, oh, it's just she's a guest at the wedding.
Anyways, if this gets you at all excited about WOSO, again, I'm loving the use of WOSO, then that's fantastic. And you should get involved. Go see some games.
It's sad, but it's interesting. And at some point, they're going to go on Glennon Doyle's podcast and explain all of this.
Oh my God, I hope so. That would be a fun place for them to go.
They're going to go on Glennon's podcast.
Or the Red Table, which apparently is coming back.
Coming back next year.
If there's any place you want to go to obscure the truth between you getting together in a shady way, it should be the Red Table.
I have to Future Bobby really quick. This is Future Bobby. Lindsey's not here. I'm editing. Shout out to our queer WOSO friend who texted this to us, who's very invested in this entire narrative. It's a photo of Allie kicking a soccer ball with the caption, "Preparing for playoffs while in my Beyonce Lemonade era." So I think that literally says everything you need to know. Literally everything. Everything. Okay, next call.
I want to be famous.
I slept in a terrible bed at one of our dates this story. I won't reveal where it was because I don't want to be super rude, but the bed was absolutely horrendous. Big dip in the middle. I was
Yeah.
always like rolling into the center. It was so bad. My back hurt so bad when I woke up. And guess what? When I got home, my favorite part of being home was getting in bed.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were like back into
finally,
my mattress.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a real bed that was chosen for me based on a quiz, the Helix quiz.
Right. And sometimes when people use my mattress, they're like, that's a little soft. And I'm like, yeah, it's made for me, not for you.
For you.
Which actually even drives home the fact that it's so made for me. You know what I mean? I kind of relish in the I mean, I don't want my friends to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, I kind of am like, celebrating the fact that it's like for my body, not
Yeah.
for yours.
Mm-hmm. I just sleep so much better on my own mattress than literally any other mattress. And that's because Helix mattresses rock. I wake up, my back doesn't hurt. I wake up, I don't have night sweats. I wake up and I'm thrilled. I wake up and I say, I love you, Helix.
That's
So
incredible.
if you want to experience the joy that I experience every
the
time I
joy,
get in bed,
the
and every time I
satisfaction.
get out, every time I get out of bed, you should go to helixsleep.com/who because you will get 25% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. Plus, get a free bedding bundle, which includes 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order at helixsleep.com/who. That's helixsleep.com/who.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Can't imagine it any other way. WhoWeekly.us is a Squarespace. It will always be a Squarespace. We love our Squarespace.
Even if they said no more advertising on this podcast, we would still have it be a Squarespace because honestly, it's just the easiest, sanest way to have a website on the internet at this point.
Yeah. I really can't think of another option.
No, I wouldn't even know how to do another option at this point. It's like it is a perfect way. I know they have all the features I need. If there's a new feature that I need somehow in the future, I know that they're going to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's something we need to do on this website that I can't even think of right now. I know that
As
in the future
technology advances,
that they will have our
I
back.
trust that Squarespace will keep up.
Well, because right now it's like, we have our tour dates that we're able to change on a whim,
Very
which we
easily.
need to. But Squarespace does plenty of other things. They've got, you could do a course, you could host a course, you could do analytics, you could do email campaigns, you can take payments, you can sell stuff. I mean, it's like
sell stuff
we could do whatever we wanted on Squarespace, and I am actually comforted knowing that I could do that in the future.
Yeah.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/who and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. That's 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
I want to be famous.
Hi, BLT. Long time. Who is Laufey? I read that she is Jazz's Taylor Swift, or she's the Gen Z Taylor Swift, the Icelandic Chinese Taylor Swift. Her world tour sold out in minutes. I've never heard of this girl. Who is Laufey? Showing Hall.
With new singers that we talked about last week, I definitely heard of them. They'd come across my Spotify feed, my Twitter feed. Noah Kanan, who is from, what was it? He is from Vermont, not New Hampshire. I'd heard of him. I'd heard his Casey song. I'd heard of Zach Bryan. I'd heard of Sexy Red. All these people had somehow found their way on my feeds. I'd never heard of this person who is Laufey, by the way. It's not Laufey, it's Laufey.
Which is okay. It's Icelandic. Sometimes it can be you're learning to pronounce different languages. But yeah.
It's the Norse name of Loki's mother, who I guess you don't really hear about much. You hear about Loki all the time. Loki's everywhere. Never hear about Loki's mother, who is Laufey.
Okay.
As the caller said, her world tour is sold out, which I was like, well, does that mean everything's sold out? Everything's sold out. I went to her website and literally the entire tour is sold out. I thought the caller was exaggerating or something.
Cool.
I'd never heard of this person at all. And then I listened and I was like, oh, it's giving Lady Gaga piano and jazz.
I mean, she's a jazz singer. It's a different genre.
Yes.
Why would you have heard of her? She's not
Yeah.
coming across your pop music listening feeds or whatever.
I listened to her earlier stuff, which is because she's so young and she graduated from Berklee School of Music, shout out Boston, in 2021. So there's actually not that much to pull from. But I listened to 2021 music versus 2023 music, and it goes from lo-fi meets jazz.
Step by step, brick by brick, I'm reclaiming what's mine.
To full on, I love Ella Fitzgerald jazz in the most recent stuff.
To confess, I loved you from the start. Ba-ya-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da.
And it is true that you don't really hear this stuff coming from people in her generation, but I wouldn't call her the Taylor Swift of jazz because I feel like
There's no Taylor Swift of anything. It's just Taylor Swift.
it's like there's no Taylor Swift of anything. There's no Beyonce of anything.
I also think there's a broader audience for jazz music in terms of just standards and stuff that is like very WNYC, PBS, very like I'm going to see jazz. Like I don't really, as a genre, like I'll see anyone. I want to see an array of talent. Like it's less like pointed in terms of who the person is, but also like she's interesting. She's Icelandic. She was on Iceland's Got Talent. She was on The Voice Iceland. Like the only thing that's interesting to me, it's like where does she land within like the Iceland's most famous people list, which always cracks me up as to like who is on that list because it's like Bjork and Bjork. It's like Bjork and Sigur Rós and Jónsi and who else?
Leif Erikson.
Oh, he like the historical figure.
Leif Erikson, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And the guy from the Eurovision song that went viral.
And then of course there's Hildur Guðnadóttir, who is the composer.
Of course. To be fair, Iceland is a small country. You know, we're asking for a smattering of notables.
So wait, Laufey is Chinese Icelandic who went to music school in Boston. Because Berkeley is very famous, and I thought it was funny that I was listening to her very first song that came out, and it mentions Boston, it mentions the Back Bay, and I was like, it's funny that your first song released as a Chinese Icelandic singer is about Boston. There's something sort of funny about that, isn't there?
I mean, sure. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of singers have had similar experiences because Berkeley is in Boston.
Berkeley's very famous.
To be one of the most famous music schools.
Everyone's calling in about her now because her new album's out. She got a profile in Vogue. She got a profile in Washington Post. She got a profile in other music publications. So I think that's probably why people are seeing her everywhere, which means that the media tour is working.
I just feel like when we talk about music that we don't know about, then I'm kind of like, we just sound like old and like out of touch or whatever sometimes. When there's no like juicy narrative, which is fine. There doesn't need to be a juicy narrative. She can just be a good jazz singer. Like there doesn't need to be anything there. But sometimes it's just like, leave it to Popcast and Billboard or whatever to expose you to new music. Like I'm not going to be a very good person to do that. I'm out here listening to the same freaking, Lady Gaga album from 2005. I mean, I'm not, but like I'm just saying like I don't feel kind of qualified enough to be like, listen to this like iconic Icelandic jazz singer.
I'm not telling anyone to listen to her, but I am saying that I don't think that that's what our job is, to do music criticism. But it's like, who is this person and why is this person notable?
But when there's no story there, it is kind of just comes off as to like, here's just like a new music person who's from Iceland and has like, who sold out her tour or whatever. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I just don't know what makes it beyond that.
Well, you do have the it already feels like Tale as Old as Time Now story, where it's like, how did she get famous? On TikTok. And the other funny thing about her TikTok career is that she has an identical twin sister whose name is Junia. And Junia has her own successful TikTok where she, in part, makes jokes about being the identical twin of Laufey.
God, it's so bleak to be the identical twin of like a famous singer. And then you're like on tour with your sister because it's fun and everyone thinks you're your sister. And you're like, no, I'm the not talented one or whatever.
Well, less famous. She did the creative direction for her albums and plays violin on some of the songs.
Okay, I stand by what I said.
But I was looking through other famous people with identical twins because I feel like that must be so much stranger than fraternal, because it's always like, oh, Scarlett Johansson has a twin, and it's like some guy named Bill or whatever. The identical twins are more interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of people with identical twins who are famous, they're both famous. Because like if you think about like Tia Tamara and like Dylan and Cole Sprouse or whatever, like both of them had like a moment. Maybe with some other one, like you put in here Jeremy and Jason London, like they had varying moments of celebrity, but a lot of them are like, they both are famous. Jill, like,
Yeah. Jeremy and Jason London are, I mean, in addition to being a little bit dark, the two of them, it's very weird that they got famous around the same time, playing kind of the exact same kinds of roles.
They're twins. If one wasn't available, you could ask the other.
But it's like Tia and Tamara and Dylan and Cole, the gag of them being twins was always the thing. Like they were twins first who were sharing the screen as twins. Jeremy, Jason, London were just like on the come up at the same time, never playing like Jeremy and Jason as buds.
But also, if you think about it, in the Mary-Kate and Ashley of it all, the reason why they use twins in the beginning is to switch out babies for child welfare laws.
And famously, they're fraternal.
Sure, but they might as well be in terms of babies. They might as well be identical,
Yeah.
right? Like whatever. My point is that like a lot of these twins got their starts young because they were put in show business to avoid child labor laws, so that they could film for longer by switching out the child or whatever.
Yeah.
So then they were in the business, and then they continued to be famous, therefore remaining still twins, and then being like, well, what do we do? We're still identical twins. We both have to work. Let's like be in a show about identical twins. The Tia Tamara, the, you know, whatever, the Mary-Kate and Ashley of it all.
You know what twins, when I was looking up other famous identical twins, I found out something very strange which I've never known before. Both stars of Napoleon Dynamite are identical twins.
Wait, really?
Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro are both identical twins. John
That's
and
cool.
Dan Heder and Efren and Carlos Ramirez.
Very funny.
That's very strange.
It's very strange. This feels like one of those Us Weekly articles that's like, celebrities you didn't know had a twin. So that's what we sound like right now.
Anyway, Lady Gaga, Jazz and Piano's impact. Congrats to Laufey.
Lady Gaga said, Jazz is back.
And Gen Z said, we don't care. But then Laufey said, Jazz is back. And Gen Z said, we care.
I know. Lady Gaga's like, I'm staying in Vegas. Here they appreciate my jazz and piano. And it's like, all right, bye. But I will say the difference between Lady Gaga's jazz and piano, we're joking, but the difference between Laufey and Lady Gaga's jazz and piano is a huge gulf. Gaga's out here being like, hello, my baby, hello, my darling. She's like the frog with the cane. And Laufey is singing like modern, new, interesting, innovative takes on jazz that is supposed to be for like a younger generation. Like Gaga's being like shooby dooby, you know?
Hello, my baby.
Right? Am I wrong?
Although Laufey would slay if Laufey did Hello, my baby, hello, my
Sure,
honey.
but she's not doing that. Do you think that Laufey considers Lady Gaga the Tony Bennett
It's just
to her Lady
Laufey.
Gaga?
Laufey's not the fashion brand. She's
I'm
just
sorry.
Laufey.
I'm sorry. Do you think Laufey considers Lady Gaga her Tony Bennett to Lady Gaga's Tony Bennett?
Oh my God. That's a crazy question.
Like, is she gonna be on stage with Lady Gaga in 50 years, being like, "Granny, sing me your favorite tune," and Gaga will like spit out like,
but it's Laufey and Lady
Laufey
Gaga.
and Gaga. Yeah.
They just roll her out in like 2080, and she's like,
She'll
"When all the world is a home."
I hope so, because guess who will be there? Me. I'll be the same age because we're the same age, and I will be there in the audience, like with my little walker, watching my 400th performance of Lady Gaga Jazz and Piano.
God, we're gonna be the old Tony Bennett fans at Jazz and Piano.
Yeah, I know, and it's gonna be Gaga's our Tony, and we're gonna be like Gaga.
Although Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga are like 60 years apart, Laufey and Lady Gaga are only like 15 years apart.
I know, but still, I'm just trying to connect it to my own interests at this point. Sure, Grandma.
I saw her play with Tony Bennett.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, your favorite call of the week coming up.
Who is Nate Bargatze? He has just been announced as the next host for SNL, and I have truly never heard of this man ever once in my life. Who is he? Crunch, crunch.
Nate Bargatze.
Well, that's how you're supposed to say it, but he says Bargatze. There's like a whole bit about it.
I watched his bit about it on Woody and Wilcox.
Oh wait, we're starting. You're not gonna play a call?
Yeah, we're starting.
Okay.
No,
fine,
I played a
Chris.
call. You didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, it was playing.
I thought you were
it
just
didn't have
silent.
my screen shared.
Like, this is our new Sebastian Maniscalco. I feel like that's what this is.
There's a comedy king who's like making bank all over the country, and we've never heard of him until he appeared on SNL or something.
Yeah, or like until I saw like a big bus in Boston with his name on it. I was like, who the fuck is this? Which happened to us. Remember?
Yeah,
we
it
saw
did
a big
happen
bus
to
with
us.
Bert, what's his name? Bert not Krieger, I'm thinking about. Bert comedian.
I think it was Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer.
Because
Remember
he's
we
the
were
machine. They were like, it's the machine. And we were like, what?
We were like, who the fuck is this? And then it was like, he's a huge comedian. And it just speaks to like wanting to go see a comedy show, and like these are the people who are doing the big tours where you go see like big stand-up comedy and like whatever. What I love about Nate is he became a thing after a Netflix special, which really only speaks to the power of Netflix. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is, it's like you're saying, oh, this girlie got viral on TikTok and then she got a record deal. It's like this guy had a special on Netflix and Netflix's algorithm pumped that shit out to everyone. And that's how he became this big.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's weird, but it's simple. It's just the power of Netflix being like the only source of like monoculture vaguely that we have is how Nate Bargatze made his way to Saturday Night Live, right?
I mean, he'd released successful stand-up albums in the past, but yeah, it was the Netflix effect.
And also you said, so SNL is not a SAG show. Why are they having a comedian that is not a household name or even close to being one on SNL? Is it because no actors want to promote their work right now because of SAG?
I think that's what it is. So SNL has always been a promotional device. SAG has a story about it on their website that clears it up very easily. It says, SAG-AFTRA members appearing on Saturday Night Live, either as hosts, guests, or cast members, are working under the network code agreement, which is not the contract we, as in SAG, are striking. They're not in violation of SAG-AFTRA rules. The program is a SAG-AFTRA non-dramatic production under a separate agreement that is not subject to the union's strike order. But the wrinkle in this is that actors who are in SAG and have SAG projects that are coming out would typically go on there to promote them. So they're not going to go on.
And also, you're not going to waste your SNL thing because it's not like actors are going on SNL multiple times a year.
Right.
They're going on once, maybe even in a lifetime career. They maybe have only been on SNL once. Like, they're not going to waste their SNL invite to promote nothing. They're going to wait until they're able to do what they want to do, which is therefore why you're getting a lot of musicians. You're getting Bad Bunny. You're getting
other comedians. The other thing about this is that, like, what movies are coming out this weekend? It's like, Killers of the Flower Moon coming out this weekend. Lily Gladstone and Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, would be number one choices to host Saturday Night Live this weekend. They're not going to do that because they're promoting, even though Saturday Night Live is not a SAG show, they can't promote their SAG movie in this way unless they get a waiver, which I don't think they would do.
You know who should have done it?
Sandra Hüller?
No, Scorsese should have done it. It would have been hilarious.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
He's funny.
He's been doing a lot. And you'll notice Scorsese has been doing so much fucking promo for this movie because he's the director.
Yeah, he's doing a ton of TikTok front-facing camera comedy with his daughter Francesca. And I think he's hilarious and he would have been good on SNL. Open your mind, you know?
Did you see Miles interviewed him for Wall Street Journal?
Yeah, I'm just saying he's out here picking up the slack for his actors who are unable to do it, which is a little interesting. But, you know, DGA got their deal, so I guess he is not doing anything wrong, you know?
It's very interesting.
I'll tell you, you know who's probably thrilled he doesn't have to do anything? Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, he's like, keep me out of this. Even though I know he wants to support the movie, but I think he's like, I'm good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Jesse Plemons probably wished he could have done something for this, but unfortunately cannot. Lily Gladstone hosting SNL would have been very fun. That seems like it could have been a possibility had this drag not been happening. She will. If she wants to, she will. So, Nate Bargatze. This all is way too much context to explain why the fuck Nate Bargatze is hosting Saturday Night Live with the Foo Fighters this weekend. Lindsey had never heard of him either and then watched his comedy and was like, I stan.
Well, okay, excuse me, I didn't say that. I was like, I get it. He's funny, he's inoffensive, and not in a way where it's like he's inoffensive in a obstinate way. He's inoffensive in a kind of natural with ease way, right? Like this is comedy for people who are not dealing with politics. They don't want any sort of topical humor. It's very much my wife, my kid, the airplane. It's very vintage throwback Seinfeldian humor where no one's being offended and the comedian is the one kind of putting himself in the place of being like the dumb person.
What's the deal with cereal?
Sure. And like there is a place for that. It is kind of objectively funny. I don't know. Like, did you watch a little bit of this? I'm not like dying for this guy.
Marriage fights are great because they're all very dumb. I would say 90% of them are dumb. 10% the cops show up. But we got in a fight once over chocolate milk. We didn't talk for 24 hours. What happened is I brought chocolate milk home, and she was like, why did you bring it home? And I was like, you're supposed to drink it after you work out. And she was like, that's not true. And I was like, well, there's a commercial on TV. They probably looked into it more than you did. So I decided to listen to them.
But I do feel like all of the comments, and these are kind of pointed, which I don't love, because the audience's comments are like, finally, a comedian who can be funny without saying bad words.
I watched part of a clip of him on his Amazon special, because now Amazon is getting into the comedy special game. And I was like, okay. I mean this sincerely. When you go to his website and you just look at photos of him and the way that he's branded and the way that he's styled, his haircut, his closely trimmed stubble, like you know exactly what you're getting into. Like there is not a hint of edge on this guy.
The Atlantic had a good profile on him that basically just said it. And actually there was a review of one of his specials in Vulture that I read that kind of said it too, where it's just like, he's the nice guy. He's constantly worried about alienating his audience or hurting someone's feelings. He had a moment where he did this kind of mean comedy and he hated it. Whatever. And he never talks about politics. He goes nowhere near race or identity issues. He maneuvers so gingerly around other subjects, religion, gender roles. Will say he loves to talk about his wife, but only in a way where it's like, my wife's the boss, which I think is such a funny thing. Like, she's the boss of the house. And it's like, okay.
The audience is like, it's so true. The wife is the boss.
I don't know. Listen to this, though. This is funny. But if there's one subject that gets Bargatze worked up, it's coastal condescension. The time I spent with him, he kept flashing irritation with how places like his hometown are portrayed in popular culture. He's from Tennessee. I do hate the way people in New York and LA talk about the South. We're all a bunch of rednecks running around screaming the N-word, he said. Interesting that the only thing that gets this guy worked up is coastal condescension. That's funny.
The only thing.
That's the only thing he's mad about, is that New York and LA people are mean to him.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's going to be part of the monologue, because part of the monologue is going to have to be, in a way, him being kind of random is definitely going to be part of the joke.
No, it's going to be like, you're wondering who I am.
I'm the nice comedian.
Yeah, whatever. I like this because you saw his, would you go to his Wikipedia and you saw that his father had blue
Timmy
blue
did.
link?
No, Timmy did. On his Wikipedia, it says parents, Stephen Bargatze, and it's blue. Parent with a blue name, sung to the tune of Devil with the Blue Dress. Click him. He's a famous fucking magician.
He opens for his son. Isn't that cute? He opens for his son, and then he does comedy about his dad. That's like, my dad's a clown. Ever get yelled at by a clown? Like, it's not.
That's funny.
It's funny. Like, I don't know. He's able to turn an inoffensive everyday story like Bobby waiting in line for a Java into like an entire joke.
I can't tell a story about me waiting in line with Java without using the F word, though.
Which one?
And I mean both of them, honey. I mean both of them.
But like, whatever. I don't think that this guy, aside from that little comment about how he hates people in New York and LA, just kidding, LOL, but does he? I'm not going to get into like, I don't think it's very dark-sided that this guy like does this type of comedy, but it is interesting that we have to frame it this way because we cannot like, what's his deal? It's like, well, he just like doesn't swear or whatever.
Who's the like dipshit who's also famous? The last time we talked about a comedian who was selling out everywhere, and we're like, who are we talking about?
Steven Maniscalco? Is that what you're talking about?
No, Sebastian Maniscalco just seems sort of like.
What did I just call him? I just called him Steven
I don't know what you called him.
Not even getting it close to correct.
I'm talking Maniscalco. I said it wrong too, but no, not Sebastian Maniscalco, who was in that movie with Kim Cattrall and Robert De Niro. The douchebag. The douchebag who everyone was like, he's the new Dane Cook. Like, bad boy comedy is back.
Oh, like Mike. Yeah,
like,
no,
what's his name?
Right, he's like hot, and he's like
I'm on TikTok and I dated Kate Beckinsale or whatever.
What the fuck is his name?
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife.
Like, you look at that guy and you say, we're gonna have a problem here, you know, like, and that's what he leans
that guy's
into.
got Squidward face. Like, he's different. Handsome Squidward.
But it's funny that we have this counter programming to that sort of thing, where it's sort of like,
sure,
people were still, when it came to Matt Rife, there was that similar narrative where it was like, this kind of comic is back. Like, cancel culture won't stop this kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, this kind of comedian,
is
Nate
more
Bargatze,
famous.
is like, I'm
more
Sweetie.
not
I'm
more famous
Sweetie,
maybe,
and
but
I'm-
more successful.
And
Right.
I don't offend anyone. And I don't even know which one is more successful, but they both are clearly successful. And I just think it's
Sure.
funny that like we're acting like one of them won out. But it's like, no, there's plenty of space for both kinds of comedy. And that's okay.
Sure.
And
Right.
we're going to be fine.
But then you also think about other comics who've branded themselves as like nice guys in comedy, like Jimmy Fallon, and you're like, okay, well, there definitely might be a dark side to this.
Yes.
So watch out. So don't take it. Don't take him at his word for being like, I'm just a guy talking about coffee or whatever.
My wife. He was
My
part of Jimmy Fallon's Clean Cut comedy tour in 2013 too. So
Clean cut comedy. Think about what that's advertised. You know what I mean? Like, think about who that's drawing in. Just want to see some clean cut comedy.
It's drawing in Lindsay. It's drawing in Nancy Myers. It's drawing in Nancy Myers, who commented on his Instagram, Nate, fantastic. This was about the SNL announcement.
Sometimes you just want to see some clean cut comedy. Sometimes you just want to see a guy talk about how great his wife is. Okay, Bobby? Maybe that doesn't appeal to you, but some of us
No, it doesn't.
crave that.
I want to be famous.
Love my CB distillery. It helps me sleep. I love my they're called gummies. They have gummies and gummies. The gummies don't quite put me to sleep, but the gummies do put me to sleep. And I take them most nights, to be honest.
You do. I know you do because you tell me about it every time. You're like, well, that worked. And for
I know.
Bobby, nothing seems to be working. So this is an incredible breakthrough for you.
Genuinely a huge breakthrough for me. CB Distillery's targeted formulations are made from the highest quality, clean ingredients. No fluff, no fillers, just pure, effective CBD solutions designed to help support your health. In 2 non-clinical surveys, 81% of customers experienced more calm, 80% said CBD helped with pain after physical activity, and an impressive 90% among them, myself, said they slept better with CBD. So if you struggle with a health concern and haven't found relief, make the change like I did to CB Distillery. And with over 2 million customers and a solid 100% money-back guarantee, CB Distillery is the source to trust. We have a 20% discount code to get you started. Visit cbdistillery.com and use code WHO for 20% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code WHO. cbdistillery.com.
You and I love to see when I'm shopping for gifts for the holidays and I'm online, I'm doing my normal shopping, I'm going through all the stores, and I see that little pop-up and it says, here's your cashback offer from Rakuten. And I say, all right. And I click that button and I know that whenever I buy something from that website for the holidays, I will be getting money back into my pocket. That's incredible.
Yeah. And yes, it's gift-giving season. We're approaching gift-giving season. I might be heading up to like wine.com or like Best Buy to get some gifts for people, but
eBay, Real, Urban Outfitters, Sephora.
Recently, I was on Zappos buying a new pair of shoes for myself, and I saw, I think it was a 10% cash back that I wasn't even expecting with the pair of shoes that I bought. And I was like, that's a slay, because it's very easy to get that cash. It's like real money. It's not hard to get that money. They just transfer it into your PayPal account.
No,
if
it's
you
not
want
hard.
it.
It's not hard.
Rakuten is the best way to save lots of money this holiday season because you can stack holiday sales and deals on top of cashback to maximize your savings at over 3,500 stores. That's called maximizing your joint sleigh. Stores will be at the highest cashback rates of the year, all the way up to 15% cashback at some of your favorite brands through the holiday season. Here's how it works. You go to your favorite stores, like we said, it's like Best Buy, Nike, Zappos, etc., and those stores pay Rakuten to send them shoppers, and Rakuten passes on a part of that money to members via PayPal or check. You get the cash back at hundreds of stores across every single category, including fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, and so much more. They also find you the best deals, sales, and coupons. They do the work of searching for coupon codes so you can save time and money. Plus, membership is free and it's easy to sign up. Join the 17 million members who are already saving. Start all of your holiday shopping at Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app to start saving today. Your cashback really adds up.
You want to hear something fun about my most recent purchase from Quince?
I know what it is. So tell me again.
So I had to, I don't want to give it away. Well, I'm giving it away. I don't care. I had to replicate a gorgeous silk slip from the performance of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway in order to create my Halloween costume, which is, of course, Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard, which involves, as Norma Desmond, you're going to get a dark wig, you're going to get some blood, but you also need a gorgeous silk slip. And I immediately said, oh, I know where to get that, from Quince, because I'm like, I know Quince will have a flattering, affordable, and comfortable, which is really the most important thing. Because Halloween costumes, I'm not out here trying to wear some sort of like rayon, gross, itchy thing. Like I want a real slip. And so I went right to Quince, and they had a beautiful black slip that I bought for my Halloween costume. But you know what? I'm going to keep wearing it. It's not just going to be a costume.
I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful slip.
It really is. It's really going to be gorgeous.
Slip.
And they don't just have silk slips that are affordable. They also have classic fall items like sweaters.
I just bought an overshirt from them. I love an overshirt.
An overshirt,
Yeah,
really?
I love an overshirt.
It's a cozy overshirt.
It's a cozy overshirt. It's I think it's camel colored. It's a camel colored overshirt.
Really?
Kind of like a half jacket, half shirt.
Well, Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And it's not just that. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands, which includes leather jackets and cotton cardigans and soft denim and so much more.
And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And of course, premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. So get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/who for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/who to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/who.
I want to be famous.
Hello, Bobby, Lindsey, Timmy, long time listener, first time caller. I wanted you guys to talk about Halle Bailey and DDG. She's rumored to be, or she's seemingly pregnant, and on April Fool's Day of 2023, DDG posted an ultrasound, and it said, like, can't wait to be your father. And everyone was kind of like, oh my God, she'd never let you impregnate her. But lo and behold, she fully did, and she's pregnant. And I think that that's incredibly funny. And he was playing the long game, and he really got everybody. But yeah, please talk about it. I think it's really funny. Thank you and goodbye, Avia Tiongin.
Okay, the caller. Okay, so this is a touchy subject. I want to put that out there. Touchy, right? I mean, we are not in the business, aside from Dakota Johnson, who is still pregnant after 45 years. Dakota Johnson's been pregnant since we thought she was pregnant. She's still pregnant.
Yeah.
It's not great to be like, somebody is pregnant if they have not themselves said that they are pregnant, especially somebody in the public eye, especially somebody who's relatively young, which I think Halle Bailey falls into that category. But the celebrity tabloid news cycle around this story has been absolutely brain dead and almost like psychotic. And also compared to also the kind of chatter on like X, Twitter, whatever you call it, and like other places that people are talking, it's like unbelievable because it's so affecting or something.
Yeah. People are trying to, in the modern, tell me something, girl, are you happy in this modern world? In this modern world, we're trying to be respectful of people, especially women, whose appearance changes specifically in the bump area. And we cannot call it a baby bump. We're trying not to call it a baby bump. We're trying not to say that a baby bump means pregnancy. We're trying so hard. And the way that the press understands that, but still pays for the photos and wants to publish them, is making them and everyone else crazy. Because Halle Bailey isn't saying a single thing about being pregnant at all. So then you see photos of Halle Bailey looking physically different than maybe we saw her in The Little Mermaid. And we get headlines like Halle Bailey, parentheses, baby, Out of parentheses, bumping in that hoodie. New pics fuel pregnancy buzz. TMZ can't even put baby bump in the same space together without separating it into parentheses. Halle Bailey fuels pregnancy rumors in baggy clothes as she steps out with boyfriend DDG. They don't even mention the bump, which is what the subtext is. They just say baggy clothes. Halle Bailey sets pregnancy rumors swirling among her fans on social media after she steps out in extra baggy hoodie with Bo, DDG, and Santa Monica. This one is doing one of our other favorite things, which is blaming it all on fan speculation, right? Like, I'm the writer here working for this outlet, but I'm just going to comment on what the tweeters are saying.
I'm just quoting
right?
Twitter. I'm just quoting what other people are saying. I'm not doing anything.
I would never say that Halle Bailey seems pregnant because of what she's wearing or how she looks, but look at what the tweeters are saying. Baby on board? ? Halle Bailey's recent pictures fuel pregnancy rumors yet again. See, we're not even saying baby bump. Halle Bailey opts for poofy black mini dress at Glamour Women of the Year Awards amid pregnancy rumors, which is also great. It's just saying, look at this photo of her. Did you know that some people think that she's pregnant?
I mean, we're doing the same thing that they're doing, which is like we're looking at the press of it all to kind of talk about it and frame it around the way that they're talking about it. But also it's just very interesting how it's like, everyone is like, here's how we talk about this. Here's how we should talk about this. But we absolutely cannot avoid mentioning this because it's everything that everybody is talking about amongst themselves. But we, as like press or whatever, we should be holding ourselves to some standard, but we absolutely cannot. But also just kind of like, you're not even doing any reporting anyways. You might as well just say it, you know?
Exactly. And clearly, even if people are reaching out to Halle Bailey's people for comment, they're not getting a response. No one is.
I have to say, I do love that she is just continuing business as usual. Like, she's going to parties, she's going to premieres, she's not skipping anything. She's like, I'm here, I'm wearing a poofy dress, I don't give a fuck. Like, am I obscuring a possible bump? Maybe. Am I not? I don't know. You'll never know because I'm not really addressing it. Like, and I look slay, and that's great. And I just think it's really like, it's kind of the opposite from what maybe would have happened in, let's say, like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where it'd be like, hide her away, like send her to
put her away.
She was never seen again. And it's like, she's like, well, you know, whatever. It takes strength of character, I have to say, whatever is going on.
It's a very, very, very powerful move.
Also, I will say, if she wasn't pregnant, she would have denied it at this point. That's my main, looks aside, enough has been reported about and said or kind of commented on that if this woman wasn't pregnant, she would say, like, I'm not pregnant. Like, leave me alone.
I think that's probably true.
Sorry. That's my maybe kind of taking it too far take about this. Sorry.
What did she say when she won what award did she win at the Glamour of the Year Awards?
The Glamour Woman of the Year. She won Woman of the Year.
She won Woman of the Year Gen Z Game Changer Award. Okay, so Gen Z Game Changer. And she posted photos of her in her poofy dress that everyone was like, she's wearing a poofy dress. Oh my God, you guys, what a beautiful night. I'm so grateful that I was honored with the Glamour Woman of the Year Gen Z Game Changer Award. This is such a special honor to me and feels oh so amazing to be recognized for the work that I have put in all the years of my career. Being a young woman in the spotlight is definitely not for the weak, ... But because of God, my loved ones, and mentors, I am able to face the world every day with my head held high. Also, by mentors, she means Beyonce. I'm so grateful for all the beautiful souls that continue to lift me up and guide me as I continue this blessing of a journey, which is my life. Thank you, God. So then that even got written up as sort of like, she dodges pregnancy questions by like talking about the Glamour of the Year Awards without mentioning bump. I just love watching people flail when they write about this because everyone is trying so hard not to be disrespectful, and in place of disrespect is just the funniest fucking copy. Like, it's just so funny.
I mean, it's so disrespectful, but also I think what we're kind of all in on it's not joke, but I mean we're all in on the conversation that it's not about Halle Bailey. And if anything, it is about Halle Bailey and how beloved she is and how promising she is and how talented she is and how beautiful and amazing she is. It's about how this guy who she's dating, who ostensibly would be the baby's father, is kind of shitty. And that's what I think is more of the conversation versus even is she pregnant or is she not pregnant? It's okay to be pregnant. You know, people are pregnant at many different ages, but it's more just like the conversations I'm seeing are like about the guy, about DDG, who was like caught up saying weird shit about her in the past.
Because the thing about the Bailey sisters is that they from the time they first kind of got famous, they don't really comment on anything because I guess this was earlier this year when the rumor was that DDG and Halle broke up. Remember their older sister like went on TikTok and made or Instagram stories and like made a video like shit talking DDG and being like, you will not disrespect my sister like that. And then she was like, oops, never mind. I'm going to delete this because clearly Chloe and Halle's people were like, our mantra is we do not comment on this shit. And then Sky deleted it. So I think that this is just an extension of what they always do. And yes, people are annoyed because everyone loves Halle Bailey and everyone thinks that DDG is irritating. So they don't want these two to be together.
I mean, also, no one is going to be good enough for her in the eyes of the public.
That's true. When everyone loves you, no one is going to be good enough for you. Exactly.
Right.
Which is why one of the old PR rules for such a long time was that when you're a up and coming like it star, you're single. Even if you're dating someone, you have to be publicly single so that everyone can imagine themselves like being with you or whatever. Everyone now, as the caller pointed out, is also pointing out a tweet that DDG posted in April, on April Fool specifically. He posted a sonogram photo and then said, can't wait to be your dad, crying face, and then said April Fools.
First of all,
sorry, I think that's kind of funny.
I mean, the fact that he was like,
can't wait to be your dad.
Well, also the timing doesn't match up because like she's not pregnant enough where April would make sense for her to have that sonogram photo anyway. So he was doing an April Fool's, but then he like did seemingly. I hope he makes her laugh. I don't know.
He must.
I don't know.
I want to end on Nick Cannon because I think it's really funny that every single headline that I've read is bending over backwards to be respectful. And Nick Cannon just fully says, welcome to the baby daddy gang to DDG.
Nick, you've had enough babies to know a pregnant belly.
One thing I've learned, you never tell a woman that she look pregnant. This is from a professional pregnant getter. You get women pregnant. The term is impregnator. From a professional impregnator. Is she pregnant, Nick? She looks like she got on some nice sweats. She
Very
got a
large,
few layers
baggy.
on. She has the glow. She has the glow. She look like she just finished filming The Color Purple. The girl is pregnant. Shouts out DDG. Welcome to the baby daddy gang. Now your name is BDDG.
He said this on Daily Cannon, his daily morning show, which I cannot believe he does. How does he have time to do a 3-hour morning show every day? The busiest man in Hollywood.
Yeah, he really is.
Let's do some rapid fire calls.
Hi, Who Weekly. Love the show. I had to call in because this celebrity podcast stuff has gotten really out of control because I just found out that Dua Lipa has a podcast. But I'm sorry, it's just like, why does, my question is, does Dua Lipa know who Mark Maron is? Showing hole.
If you didn't know Dua Lipa had a podcast, Lindsay and I did something wrong. I don't know how you. I don't know how you didn't.
How
know
are you
Dua Lipa
listening
had a
to this podcast? You didn't know Dua Lipa had a podcast. She's this podcast's favorite podcaster.
Dua Lipa has the podcast. Okay.
She has Timmy's favorite podcast. Timmy's not even barely checking into this one. He's busy racking up his Dua Lipa hours.
Timmy's favorite podcast is Dua Lipa : at your service. Okay. Dua Lipa, I gotta say, Dua Lipa wants nothing more than never to sing again. And for those reasons, I stand.
She is on vacation. She's reading books. She's podcast. She's newsletter. What else? I mean, it's very, what else could she do? Launch a cookbook? What's next for her to avoid singing? I love pop stars who don't want to do pop music or any music at all.
Selena plus Chef plus Dua. That's like season 5. It's like, that's... She is the queen of parlaying pop stardom into literally anything else. You know, it's so funny. Does she know who Mark Maron is? The answer is a resounding yes. She researches her new businesses and her new industries. Of course she knows who Mark Maron is. She knows the heavy hitters.
No, she does her research. You're right. Like, if anyone is like getting a paper with bullet points and like reading them, it's Dua Lipa, I think. She's very... Like, she's very much like able to do 45 things. Like, she's juggling and she loves it. Absolutely loves it. I mean, when she's not on vacation for weeks, she is out here reading bullet points about something. And I think she definitely knows who Maron is. She probably even like asked him for advice on hosting podcast, you know?
She knows Maron. She knows Jay Shetty. She knows the Pod Save America boys. She pays attention. She's listened to every episode of Glennon Doyle's podcast, you know?
Oh, of course.
Speaking of I don't know her games, this is a really good question.
Does Brad Pitt know who Trisha Paytas is? Crunch, crunch.
Great question. Did you see that Ice Spice approved of Trisha Paytas' Ice Spice drag?
Of course Ice Spice approved of Trisha Paytas' Ice Spice drag. It was good. I watched a video today of Trisha Paytas going to like a fast food drive-in in her Ice Spice drag. What's great about Trisha Paytas is she's not like professionally, like her looks aren't professionally put together. They're like slapped together. Like she's like painting glitter on a golf ball.
But she's so rich, so she has a lot of ingredients.
Sure, but she's no different than you or I. She's getting them from Amazon.com and like again, like putting a $5 chain on like a golf ball and painting it glittery. I just, it's a relatable. Her outfits are not good enough. She's doing a relatable art here. Is what I'm saying. I know she's rich, but true. I don't think she's spending that on her Ice Spice costume, which is a red wig and a necklace. You know,
she's just like someone who has like a very big and elaborate like costume closet. You know, it's just
true.
There's a lot
She
of crap
really
in
does.
there.
Okay. Does Brad Pitt know who Trisha Paytas is? No, absolutely not. Why?
No, never.
That man like spends his whole life avoiding knowing who Trisha Paytas is, right? Like that's
absolutely
that's the dream. That's the goal.
The question though, does Angelina Jolie know who Trisha Paytas is?
Well, because she has who spends time with their kids, not Brad.
She spends time with the kids.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, her kids are a little different than most kids. I don't think
her kids. I actually don't think any of those kids.
I'm not
know
sure
who
her
Trisha
kids
Paytas
are
is.
allowed near YouTube or whatever. You know, if I had my guess.
Shiloh saw one Trisha Paytas video and said, I won't be liking or subscribing.
Well, like I just always think about that photo of them selling like dog treats in the park during COVID. Remember that like sad pic where they're in the background? Like they're doing like other activities, not like caught up in screen time. Although screen time does come for everyone, even it's kind of unavoidable. So maybe I don't know. But Brad Pitt,
it wasn't even during COVID. Oh, it was
Sarah Ramos. Yeah, iconic photo. Thank you, Sarah, for that
funniest
contribution to culture. So funny.
Okay, no one in the Pitt Jolie family knows who Trisha Paytas is.
Hi, BLT. I was wondering if you can help rank the famous Jasons. There's way more than I realized. So we've got Bateman, Statham, Siegel, Biggs, Sudeikis, Mraz, Derulo, Momoa, Alexander. I think those are all the big ones. You can add any others if I forgot, but can you hoot at them? Pretty, please. I love you. Women do belong in balloons.
This is too many Jasons.
Jason Bateman, Jason Statham, Jason Segel, Jason Biggs, Jason Sudeikis, Jason Mraz, Jason Derulo, Jason Alexander. I'm sorry, if Derulo and Biggs are on there, I'm adding Mantzoukas.
How about Jason and the Argonauts, right? How about Statham? I just feel like, how about Aldine, Momoa? Like, I just feel like we can't really rank Jasons because there are just too many Jasons.
Then let's just pick the themiest Jason, because there are so many Jasons that I'm like overwhelmed and upset. I'm actually frankly alarmed. I think that there are too many Jasons.
I think so too. And Jason Priestley, I'm just naming more. Jason Lewis from Sex and the City. Jason Ritter. Come on.
Oh, you love Jason Ritter.
I love Jason Ritter. Jason Schwartzman.
You know what this calls for.
Celebrity book club? No, sorry.
Famous
Celebrity birthdays. Famous birthdays. Oh my God. You know who the most famous Jason is, I think, right now is fucking Jason Bateman.
I saw multiple people in smartless hats over the past week, and I was like, what
It's only made him more famous. Oh my God, famous Jasons and famous birthdays is demonic. Do you want to hear
Jason Derulo?
Derulo, Kelsey, as in Travis Kelce's brother Jason. Jason Nash, Trisha Paytas' ex, who does YouTube. Jason Momoa, number 4. Jason Mraz, number 5. Jason Statham, number 6. Jason Coffey, don't even know who that is, from TikTok, number 7. Bateman doesn't even appear until 15. I don't think this reflects culture. Get out of here.
Well, the reason Jason Derulo is at the top of this list is because of all of Jason Derulo's controversy right now. And people are, I think, Googling it more. I know, it's true.
It's true, and it's dark, and I don't like him, and he bothers me so much.
Okay, you know what this is a case for, actually? The Star Meter. We're going to the IMDb star meter.
All right, go the star meter. Well, although Jason Kelsey's not going to be on the star meter.
Well, then he doesn't count. Jason Kelsey isn't even part of this conversation, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Jason Bateman, he's number 275 on the star meter.
Okay, that's high.
I would say Jason Statham is the closest competitor. Statham is 104 on the star meter. And I think the only other Jason who could maybe come close is Sudeikis.
I really think Sudeikis, Statham, and Bateman are the highest. And for various reasons, like Statham's a legit movie star. Bateman is beloved. And also Sudeikis has a real hold on culture because of Ted Lasso being very successul show.
Sudeikis is number 3 of these 3. He's 422 on the list. So he's lower than Jason Bateman and Jason Statham. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it has to be, God, I'm going to put Bateman above Sudeikis. I think that Smartless is too big of a thing.
It's so powerful.
Jason Bateman, number 1 famous. They tried to take him down with that, he was a little baby on the show because he couldn't get his computer to work. And I don't think anyone cared.
No, I don't even think that he cared.
Because it was like, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that Jason Bateman, former child star and current podcast host, is like a little baby. Okay, we're not surprised.
Also, who among us hasn't been a little baby about equipment not working? Get out of here.
I'm a little baby about everything.
You should hear our outtakes being little babies about equipment not working to each other. Like, get out of here.
I'm a little baby.
Those in glass houses should not throw podcast mics out of the house into the glass.
I'm going to give you one more chance for that one.
No, I know it's stones, but I'm just saying, like,
no, I know, but like, just to get that one clear, those in glass houses should not throw podcast mics, I think was good. And then you added out of the house. Out of the house.
I just wanted to be clear that, like, the imagery that I was.
Yeah, it's a good image.
Conveying. Okay.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Who's There. Keep calling in at 619-WHO-THEM to leave questions, comments, and concerns. Buy tickets to our live show. We'll see you in Los Angeles next week, and then Vancouver, and then San Francisco. What a weird down, then up, then down again.
Get tickets to the newly announced after party for our New York City show on November 16th with Gorgeous Gorgeous at the Fishbowl. If you want to party, extend the babysitter's hours, or if you don't need a babysitter, slay mama, come to our party and hang out with us all night.
It's true. And we'll see you on Tuesday with no, actually, we're not going to have an episode next week because of all the travel.
We are going to be off next week. We'll have an amazing compilation ep on Friday, which I think they're amazing. I'm like loving them. I love them.
But we are not going to stop the Patreon. So if you're a subscriber, you could subscribe on Patreon or Apple Podcasts. You'll be getting new episodes every Sunday.
If you're like, I'm going to miss them so much. Well, guess what, honey? Get thee to Patreon.
Morning show recaps do not release themselves, right? Those are going to be coming no matter what. So, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. Hey.
Those in glass houses should not throw podcast mics out of the house into the glass.
This is a response to the bro who called about Travis Kelce. Which one of you hooligans made your boyfriend call and leave that message? Because how many bros are listening to Who Weekly? And if you are a bro listening to Who Weekly, we need you to call in for attendance because what? Showing all.
Hi, Who Weekly. Long time, first time. I spent a few days last week at the 51st Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and I just wanted to give a shout out to pilot Judy Nakamura, who adeptly landed her balloon bounce right next to my campsite. Now more than ever, I can say, women do belong in balloons. Crunch, crunch, Lindsey Podcaster.
Hi, Who Weekly. This is mostly just for Bobby. I have no one else to tell this to because not one other person will care. But I just checked out at the Stop and Shop behind Ian Hawke. Happily ever after. fiance, soon to be husband, and he checked out and then said, "Hold on, I'll be right back." Went to his car, I guess, and brought back a box of Cliff Bars that he bought another time and said, "I want to return these," and was directed to customer service. Yeah. Wild morning for me, truly. Just reporting out here in the wild streets of Westport. Crunch, crunch. Me in Greece. Bye.
Hi, LindseyBobby, to me. I was watching TikTok and I came across one of the VIP list girly videos, and I was just thinking, I know you make this joke all the time about, like, I wish you would read at my funeral, but, like, can you imagine having your eulogy read by the VIP list girlies? I think that would be, like, the most incredible thing ever. Like, just being at the podium, and she's like, Lindsey was a podcaster. She really was amazing, and she did a podcast called Who Weekly, and it was super popular. Go cry about it. I can't do the voice. You do it much better than me, but I just had that thought. I think it would be really funny. Yeah, that'd be great. Just thought I'd share. Fuck, I can never think of one. Do you have like a spreadsheet of all of your? Actually, that would be so stupid. Don't make a spreadsheet of all the sign-offs. Gaga Gucky.
Hey, BLT. So I'm just spiraling down Wikipedia and learning about John Haywood, a 16th century English writer who honestly might have the most epic sayings, like iconic sayings that have gone down in history, like this hitteth the nail on the head, and a penny for your thought, and beggars should be no choosers. So basically the question is, who has the more iconic quotables, Lindsey Weber or John Haywood? Thanks. Crunch, crunch.